The droid army was the fighting force of the CIS. It primarily used the idea of overpowering the enemy through sheer numbers alone. On countless battlefields, the Republic's troops would be set upon by an endless tide of machines until they are eventually killed or forced into a retreat. Although this tactic did work in many cases, it was often swiftly countered by the superior skilled Republic troops. So this does beckon the question, what would happen if the CIS changed its strategy, and instead focusing on quality as opposed to the number of droids? Now, the CIS's droids come in many different shapes and sizes, each different kind specifically designed for a specific situation or environment. This heavily contrasts the Republic's clone troopers, where they are all identical. Granted, some were equipped with different weapons and vehicles, and some were given specific advanced training, but all clones were basically the same. Now, we don't know exactly how many droids were created, however we can take a very educated guess. Now, by the end of the Clone Wars, there was about 6 million clones that had been created in total. And we know from General Kalani that the droids significantly outnumbered the clones by the end of the war. To get an idea of how much, we can see a list of combatants from the Battle of Geonosis. So, the CIS deployed around 1 million B1 battle droids and 100,000 B2 battle droids, as well as thousands of other more specified equipment. And that's all before counting the Geonosians. This is compared to the 192,000 clone troopers that were deployed and 10,000 commandos. So realistically, I'm going to say in order for a Republic victory, each clone had to kill close to 10 droids or more. For this video, we're basically just going to be focusing on infantry because there's simply too much variation in other stuff to account for all of it. Now, for this theory, we're going to be saying that the CIS decides to do away with their current tactic of swarming the battlefield, with the likes of B1 and B2 battle droids, as these were the droids that made up the vast majority of their armies. Instead, they've decided to develop droids on a similar level to the droid commandos, Class 4 battle droids. These have far more advanced combat programming and more advanced bodies to allow them for more agile movement. Now, this would of course be an expensive endeavour, as one key reason the droid army was so mismatched in the first place was because the Tycoons wanted to make use of the designs and the facilities that they already had. But we'll say that they're willing to spend money on the production of this new droid in huge numbers. And we're going to say that this new droid is equivalent to the average clone. Well, what happens? Well, firstly, the war is going to be far less predictable. Throughout the entire conflict, the Republic was easily able to predict the CIS's tactics. This is because the CIS's entire stratagem allows very little room for manoeuvre. You basically march directly to the enemy till you overrun them. However, with more advanced droids, you wouldn't have to do this. Instead, they would likely spread themselves out when advancing, making it hard for heavy weapons to inflict mass destruction on concentrated groups, as artillery often did in the Clone Wars. They'd also be moving far faster and more sporadically due to the more advanced droid brains. We see commando droids leaping from place to place all the time in battles, which would make them very hard to hit. Not only this, but they'd also have the advantage that droids don't get tired. So these advanced droids could maintain this fast pace of attacking, giving them a huge amount of momentum and making it very difficult for the Republic to hold them back. Another important point is that they would be far more capable of independent thought. Whilst B1s and to a lesser extent B2s just followed orders blindly, i.e. go here and kill all enemies in your path, a more advanced droid brain would allow them to be more reactive to what was happening around them. For example, if the Republic is preparing to launch a counter-offensive, they will automatically pull back to a more defendable position. Or if Republic troops are weak in a specific area or showing signs of weakness, they can automatically choose to push forward, or choose to attack a certain section. And they'll learn whilst doing it, which makes them far more dangerous than just blindly following orders. As well as this, droids would be viewed very differently by the people of the galaxy. You see, more advanced droids means that they can communicate far more effectively with organics. Still probably not quite to the extent that a clone could, as droids who comprehend emotions can be even more expensive, and it isn't really a necessity for your army of killing machines, but it would still help when taking over a world and enacting separatist rule. If your soldiers can communicate with the civilians, it's always gonna be handy.
I was under the assumption that organic meatbags such as yourself enjoyed such forms of address.
Not only this, but more dangerous droids will vastly lower the chance of militia forces such as the ones on Onderon. It doesn't take a soldier to take down a B1 battle droid, because they're pretty harmless in small numbers. But as for an advanced killing machine, very few people are going to risk taking that on. Ultimately, I believe that if the CIS created a smaller army and focused on the quality of their units over the sheer scale, and not just continuing to produce subpar units simply because they had the facilities, and that's what was cheapest and easiest for them, I honestly believe that they probably could have won the war. At the end of the day, droids are still far quicker to make than clones, and they could just whittle the clones' numbers down. The vast wealth of the CIS's council would still allow them to create an almost limitless supply. Now, of course, at the end of the day, this wasn't Sidious's plan, so he likely was fully aware of this and chose just not to have the CIS make large-scale advanced droids for this exact reason. But what do you think? What would these advanced droids be like? And would the CIS have won the war? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, please remember to like, share and sub as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLoreGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Most importantly, thanks again for watching, I do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.